It's a special holiday edition of the Mike Sasson Show. Welcome. We are here at the beautiful Mr. Small's studio in Millvale, Pennsylvania. It's a beautiful December night here. It's a Sunday night here. Actually, it's not very beautiful. It's very rainy and dreary.
It is totally beautiful.
I don't know. It was more beautiful yesterday. I liked it when it was more cold and all that kind of good stuff. I actually like that better. Anyways, it's the special Christmas edition of the Mike Sasson Show. We'll be going over some Christmas stuff. Also, we'll be going over, Alex did a great podcast, Garrett Titlebaum's podcast, and I've been on it. Now Alex has been on it. But here's the thing. I've learned some things about Alex. They talked to her for about an hour, and it was really awesome, so I'm going to tell you what I learned about it. Also, we're going to be talking about my 5 takes. Alex is going to be talking about Christmas and her bar thoughts and experiences. Also, that George Clooney is an incredible guy. I want to hate him, but he's an incredible guy. Who's the most overpaid actor in Hollywood? Well, Forbes did the money study, and they found out who is the most overpaid. And also, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced its inductions. I'll tell you what I think of said people that are getting into said Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Also, we're going to be talking with a lot. There's the Oxford Dictionary announced its word of the year.
Word of the year.
The word of the year is... I don't know. Anyways, we'll be talking about that. So it's all going to be good. We're all going to have a happy Christmas. Are you?
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas. Alex, you've always, you're in the Christmas spirit. I mean, you're in the, you're working the retail. You're having the nice time.
Did you see my shirt?
What's it say?
It says, "So friggin' merry." Santa Claus drinking a beer.
I bet you Santa Claus is a big drinker.
Hell yeah. How do you think he gets through Christmas?
And, well, I think that's the one day a year where he can, because really Santa Claus got a good gig. I mean, he only works he only works one day a year. Everyone kisses his butt.
Well, I think that he works a little bit more than that.
Everyone else makes the stuff for him.
Yeah, but I feel like he's, the head honcho. There's a lot of pressure on him to make it that everything is perfect, I'm sure he manages the elves and stuff, and he has to do all of that.
You don't think that
I give him more credit.
He doesn't have understudies and stuff. I bet you it's part of an organization. Well,
it's like you get an internship at the North Pole.
Well, I bet you there's people that are vice president in charge of toy making, blah blah blah, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So. I don't know. I don't think he gives Santa enough credit.
You know what? I'm saying he's a great guy, gives presents to everybody, but I think he
needs a beer once in a while.
Well, I think he's got a cushy gig. But here to cheer you up, here in Pittsburgh, we're very upset with the fact that the Steelers didn't win. But you know what? Who knows?
Upset.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, Alex is distraught.
Just ruined my whole day.
Yeah, Alex was under the table crying. He was like, "It was a catch," and we move on.
Yeah.
But one thing that was cool about the game was, and I didn't know this, but my sister Mary posted, we have our own Facebook group.
That's so cute.
The Sasson family group.
Is your mom in it?
Yes.
Aw.
She has no idea how to, she looks at her Facebook once every 3 months. So randomly she'll like something off the Mike Sasson show that we put up 4 months ago.
Aw.
And so, but
that's adorable.
Yeah, it is adorable. But I didn't know this, but my brother was actually in an iPhone commercial.
Because he's famous.
He is famous. So I put a picture up of John Sasson.
Okay.
John, who, if you don't know, if you're a friend of the family, was a middle linebacker at Youngstown State, just recently got married. We'll have a child sometime in 2018. I don't know how pregnancies work. I think in March or something, or May. But he actually was if you ever watch the commercial where they're talking about the new iPhone and they are putting a dinosaur behind people playing basketball, one of the people playing basketball is my brother.
I just don't... I haven't seen the commercial, so maybe I just don't understand the concept of it. It seems kind of weird that they would put dinosaurs behind people playing basketball.
They really have no reason to buy an iPhone anymore.
Yeah,
so what they did is they made it that the camera does more stuff. So now
so you could put dinosaurs
yeah,
behind
you could put
people.
animation behind people.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's enough to buy a $1,000 phone that's
Yeah,
going to
I
break.
mean, that's all I've ever wanted to do is put dinosaurs behind people playing basketball.
But you're not an iPhone person, are you?
No.
Neither am I. I never got into it. I always was everybody, you either become you're an Android or an iPhone person almost at birth. It's just what you
At birth,
are.
yeah.
Yeah, and right now I'm in
I just
Android.
think iPhone people, they're just, it's a different personality.
What is the personality of the iPhone person?
I just a little bit more snooty.
I would say snooty is a
Yeah.
big time.
Like I feel like Android people are a little bit more down to earth.
We're real.
A little more like not, like type B personalities.
Yeah, if you're an iPhone person, you like to be like part of the cool group. It's very important that you wear the right clothes and you go to the right restaurant and you pull out the right phone. Whereas cool, super real people like us, we're just like, hey, we just want the phone to work,
Cool,
and I
super
want
real people.
Yeah, and I just want my porn to look good on it. That's
Yeah.
all I care about when I get my phone. So, but congratulations to my brother John. That's really super
Yay,
cool.
John.
It's cool because like I actually over the weekend I noticed about 3 people that were at my sister Mary's wedding who live out in Los Angeles that were on random commercials. Like one of them was on like a Nissan ad. He was like on for 2 seconds. He's the person who actually was like who became the like did like the ceremony and stuff like that. He was on it for like 2 seconds. They just goes, hey, and I'm like, hey, I know that guy, but he was on it for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's all you need though.
well, that's the thing about like my brother's trying to be an actor. He's taking improv at Steel City, but not Steel City. Second City.
You can do it.
Well, someday I'll get there. It's what's it called? It's the Amy Poehler thing.
In New York.
UCB out in LA, Upright Citizens Brigade. And so he's trying to be an actor. He's trying to get in all that. And the thing that I always that I could never be just trying to be an actor because you really are. You're almost just trying to win the lottery.
Yeah.
Because there's so like they bring you out, and I've only had a situation where this happened once, and it was described on your podcast because you were talking about how much you loved Mindhunter.
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually was I was the stand-in for it. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have to necessarily audition, but they had to look at me to see if I fit the profile of the person.
That's the best kind of audition.
Yeah, but the weird thing about it was the fact that there was like 6 guys. We were all just big guys, all about the same height, and we all had weird mustaches because they all told us, hey, would you please have a mustache? And they all sat there, and they just like turn around and evaluated us and looked at us and prodded us and talked about us, even though we were in the room. Even though they talked about us like oh, his shoulders are a little bit more broad, blah blah blah. And then they went over to there was like a group of us, and then there was a group of women who were going to be like in the show as well. And again, they were all the same height, same everything, and they just were so like, please pick me, please pick me. And it just was so like, I couldn't imagine that being my life. Where like every day you would just go to an audition and you would try your best and you have no idea what they're looking for. All you could do is just say the line.
Basically like a job interview.
But the difference is, I think on a resume, you can at least say.
You can lie.
But A, you can lie. But B, it's something tangible. Like if you're looking for a sales job, you're like, hey, I've been with these companies. I can do this, all this other kind of stuff. Whereas if you're an actor, if they're sitting there saying, okay, we're looking for a guy to play a cop. What does a cop look like? What does this person want the cop to look like?
Yeah.
You could walk in and like just nail it and think, oh man, I absolutely crushed this. But the problem is that they were looking for someone with, who was 2 inches taller.
Yeah.
They were looking for someone who was a little bit heavier, a little bit whatever. Like one time, I actually like watching those Inside the Actor Studios thing. Mm-hmm. And one time they had Tom Hanks and this guy who was like learning to be an actor sat there, and he was a younger guy, and he was lamenting that he had a baby face. And so he goes up, he goes, Tom, I'm Jim, I'm a 3rd semester acting major, and the problem I have is the kind of roles I get are very superficial because I just have this baby face, and I want to play the murderer, I want to play the psychopath, I want to play a meteor role. Yeah. And Tom Hanks had a great line about it. He goes, somewhere there's a casting agent that's casting for the serial killer.
The babyface serial killer.
And exactly. They're saying, you know what? I don't want this person to be the typical scar on the side. I want this person to look like the boy next door, a baby faced, and that's what I'm looking for, and that's what you have to be prepared for. And it's one time a guy actually worked out in LA, sat there and looked at me, and I've always talked about, hey, maybe I'll go to LA or New York someday.
Yeah.
And he sat there and goes, you know what, Mike, you would actually get more work than the average, like, insanely good looking dude. And first off, I'm like, thanks for calling me not a good looking dude. But no, he goes, no, that, like, you're a big guy. You have a distinct face. You would be a character actor. You would be somebody that'd be like, okay, we need the cop. We need the teacher. We need the...
But you'd probably play the same thing in every single thing that you did.
Well, have you ever watched like a movie and you're like, you know what? I don't know that guy, but he's been in like 20 movies. You've been in like 20 movies. That guy makes a good living. That guy's making probably 7 figures.
Right.
But
so
he's
just be that guy.
Yeah, he's the character actor.
Yeah.
But then the thing is that always gets you is, like, James Gandolfini was a character actor. Then he got the quote unquote the role of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And he became, became Tony Soprano. But that's the thing about being an actor. You never know. I'm like, when am I going to get my role? When am I going to get my Tony Soprano?
So this other picture you sent me, is that the same brother?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my brother John.
See, I don't know. He doesn't look like he'd be in your family. I guess your noses are similar.
Well, John definitely is a lot thinner than all of us.
Yeah.
And especially in that picture, that's when he was like going really like vegan and really kind of like cutting weight and stuff like that.
Really trying to be LA.
Like really, really super LA. He's not
Yeah.
as LA as he used to be because I think he's kind of over it. But no, at that point he was really trying, like, the way
Is he
his hair
still a
was.
vegan?
I don't even know. I don't even talk to him about it. I think he eats meat now. I hope so. I think he's coming for Christmas, or he's not. One of the two. But
I'm glad you know these things.
But I'm congratulating John.
Good job.
On getting into an iPhone ad, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
And also congratulating Alex, being amazing, and having a super cool interview on. It's nice to see he's working.
I listened to it while I was at work. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the best idea because I talked a lot about work, but I said all good things, so it was okay.
You were pretty good about it.
Yeah. But maybe not like the best podcast to listen to when you're at work.
Well, I think it's the best podcast to listen to when you're at work. Just don't be Alex listening to it at work.
Yeah. I guess not on like a loudspeaker where a bunch of other people can like walk into the room, and I really like it wasn't an inappropriate show by any means, but like can walk into a part and be like, why are they talking about this? Like, and also, why is Alex just listening to a recording of her own voice?
Okay, again, I reiterate, Alex is the only person that would have an issue with listening to it at work. Everyone else can listen to it at work because it's not dirty. They don't get into like really gory details about, weird stuff or anything like that.
Like poop.
Yeah, poop. Actually, you do talk a little bit about poop, but you can't talk to
I have to.
Yeah.
No matter where I go, I have to.
Any conversation with Alex eventually goes to poop.
We have a poop tally at work for how many times I say poop during the day.
How many times a day do you poop?
Do I poop?
Yeah.
Or say poop? Just poop.
Do poop. Actually commit the act of pooping.
Usually 2 to 3 times.
Is it something your goal is? Like, hey, I want to make sure that I have a good poop coming up?
No, it's just my time to relax.
Because my thing is at my job is I really focus on, especially after my lunch, really kind of drinking some coffee, making sure that I'm really gearing up to like
You're getting that paid poop.
Yeah, I'm getting that big time paid poop. That's a big deal with me. But I already knew that. But I did make a list of a couple things that I learned about Alex.
I'm so excited. I hope it wasn't things I lied about.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll pick it out. One thing that I learned, and not learned, but it's something that just was a recurring theme in the entire podcast, which I thought was interesting. You kept on calling things a family. Like, that's a big thing for you. Yeah, like you talked about Point Park, it was a family. And obviously your family is a family, but you talked about the River's Edge as a family, and you talked about the, where you work is a family and all this other kind. Yeah. It was like a couple times you really mentioned that things were a family. And so I guess my question is that a goal of yours? Is that something that you want to be a part of? Like, you want to make sure that things that you do, you don't want to be part of like a big corporate thing or something? Yeah.
I want everyone to, like, because I am such a big family person with my own family that I want to make that basically my whole life and just have different ones of that.
See, I've always had an issue, especially with football, whenever a coach calls his team a family.
Why? Because
it's bullshit. Because it's never really true. A family is something to where, okay, you're in and we're with you through thick and thin, and everything about you, we're all in this together. Whereas, like, a football coach, the only reason they typically do say, like, oh, we're a family, is to manipulate the players.
So you wouldn't say that you were with your teammates through thick and thin, and that you would, like, be in everything together?
I think that we as the players were a family. The coaches were not part of the family, because the coaches left when they got better jobs. And the coaches would suspend you or throw you out of school if you messed up or anything like that. And every coach does that.
Yeah.
So that's why if, like, we as, like, you know, players in a position group, like I was an offensive lineman, I view my offensive linemen that I played with as my brothers. I view them as members of an extended family. But I don't view the coaches at it, because the coaches were in and out.
Oh, okay.
I had two head coaches when I was in college. I had 3 offensive line coaches in 5 years. So for them to sit there and say, oh, we're a family. Oh, by the way, I got a better job. I'm leaving. Yeah. Like, your dad doesn't sit there and say, hey, we're a family here. Oh, I found a better family in Baltimore. I'm going to leave and go there. Yeah, that'd be kind of bullshit. So that's why
wouldn't you also want the best for your family?
But if you're no longer part of said family, then it really doesn't.
But what if that was the best for them? They could still be in your family. They're just not there.
I believe a family, you can leave.
But, like, what about your siblings? Like, they're not in the same place.
But they're still part of my family.
Yeah, so same thing with your coaches.
Not necessarily. They're doing their own thing. They're off doing whatever they do.
Yeah, but they could still be a part of your family if they stayed in touch.
Theoretically, but they didn't, because they're not part of it.
And shitty coaches, though.
Well, yeah, that's your opinion and mine as well. Anyways, number 2. I never realized, at least, you know, the way you described this show, and I guess my part in it, is, first and foremost, you were very big about control.
Yeah.
Like, you really like control. You really like to have control. And it's one of the reasons why you said you're not huge into being an on-air talent.
Yeah, I don't like to, I'd like to have control, and I don't like to know that things are going wrong and not be able to do anything. That's the worst feeling in the whole world with anything.
And so, but one thing that you did say is that the fact that he goes, Mike likes the show live, and that makes my job a little harder.
It does.
But my thing is like, the reason why the show is live is not necessarily my decision. It's the fact that we're on the River's Edge Radio.
Are you just mad about things, Mike, and that's why you wanted to bring up these things?
No, I'm not mad about anything. This is what I learned. I never realized that you sat there. Would it make life easier for you if we just said, okay, we're going to record, and then we'll just play the show a couple days from now, so if we had to start and stop and all that other kind of stuff, it'd just make your life easier?
Yeah, I mean, it's easier for editing. It's easier for everything.
See, but I think we would lose what makes this show special.
Yeah, sure. I'm not saying that it would be the best choice. I'm just saying it would be easier.
It'd be easier in terms of production, not necessarily best for the show.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. And the other thing that I kind of learned through the entire thing is, first off, something I knew already. You have a great radio voice.
Thank you.
You have a very nice...
You don't learn that from listening to the show every week?
I do, but when I'm not in one of the voices, like I do evaluate this show, and I evaluate what you do. And one of the things that's tough about when I evaluate you is, because of the simple fact of the matter is I have no real, full disclosure, I have no real control. So, like, if you do something that's, like, completely something, I can maybe politely bring it up. So, but, like, at the end of the day, you could just sit there and take your ball and go home.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just like, okay, if that's what Alex wants to do, Alex wants to do it. Whereas with me, I can be as brutal as humanly possible. I mean, and I am. I most of the time, and as I've said this is the what usually happens with this show. Immediately after the show, I believe I have produced the worst piece of shit in the history of pieces of shit. Yeah. After listening to it, I then kind of lessen. I'm like, all right, I did mess up a couple times. I did say a couple times, and I wasn't real big on that.
Yeah.
And, I sit there and I go, oh, I missed a joke there, I missed a joke here, and that makes me upset.
Yeah.
But then eventually I get there. And then the other thing that's just usually cool is then when we do the little edited segments, those are like the best 3 minutes or the best 2 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? Who wouldn't want to listen to this show? This is an incredible, unbelievable broadcast, and you'd be an idiot not to listen to it. And that's usually what happens. But again, listen to Garrett Titlebaum's podcast, especially with Alex. And I'm on it the first week. And another thing you said, which I completely agree, this show is so much better than the show was at the beginning. Not that we were bad at the beginning, but we've just gotten a lot. You practice.
Get used to things.
You get used to things. And to quote Alex, Mike talks a lot and is super loud. So it took me time to
to get used
to the fact that he's insanely loud. Hopefully you're getting used to it. And again, happy holidays to everybody. But next up, we're going to be talking about Alex's views on Christmas in her bar thoughts and experiences. Again, you're listening to The Mike Sasson Show. You are listening live at www.riversedgepgh.com, or you're listening on TuneIn Radio across the planet Earth. Or the other thing I learned is that you are a big fan of when I do call you producer extraordinaire. That I mean,
it makes me feel important.
Yeah, I'm very good at coming up with. I'm a good hype man. I don't do good with me. I just sit there and go, "Hi, I'm Mike Sasson." I'm just,
I'm just me.
I'm just being me. So maybe I have to work on that in 2018. But something you have to work on in 2017 is to continue to listen, continue to watch on Facebook Live or whatever you're doing right now. It's the Mike Sasson Show on the River's Edge. We'll be right back.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
Hey River's Edge listeners, Alex here from the Mike Sasson Show, and boy have I got to tell you about Salon 22, a small local business located right here in Millville. I got my hair colored there about 2 weeks ago, and I still can't stop staring at myself. They use this awesome new technique called color melting to make me look like a mermaid. But don't worry, if mermaid hair isn't your thing, they'll meet all your hair goals. With things like balayage, rose gold, unicorn hair, ombre, as well as monochromatic color, which is your standard basic coloring. Seriously, they do it all, and they do it good. Check Salon 22 out on Facebook and mention this ad when you make your appointment to receive a free color lock service to help preserve your color. It's a $20 value for free. I'm not kidding. Book your appointment now by calling 412-822-7222. That's 412-822-7222.
We are back with the Mike Sasson Show on the River's Edge. You're listening live at www.riversedgepgh.com, or you're watching live on Facebook Live, or you're on many of the podcast formats, either Google Play, SoundCloud, or iTunes, or you're listening across the planet Earth on the TuneIn Radio app. My name's Mike Sasson. That is Alex Clemens, and one thing she loves more than the holiday season is drinking and then writing down what she thinks. It's Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Alex, play your theme song.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope anyway that just slice. It's a fresh cut, hope that you like. About to open up a can of...
So I found out a really sad fact today, Mike.
Oh, that's not good.
But it'll get better.
Okay, good.
Maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
So I found out today that apparently they did this study that drinking can affect your skin for up to like 4 weeks after you have like a binge night.
Uh-huh.
So it can cause more wrinkles and redness and puffy eyes for up to like 4 weeks. And then once you're 40, once you hit that time, it can take like a month, like months to get over. But lucky for you, it doesn't affect men as much.
Okay.
Men take a little less time for that to happen. But it makes me really sad going into the next couple weeks.
Well, I mean, obviously, hopefully you'll overcome the fact that you won't look your best.
It sucks, I'm trying to look great, but I'm also trying to drink. And especially for the holidays, you want to look good for the holidays. You don't want your skin sagging.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that as you get older, you're going to have to make some determinations on whether you're going to have to be, how much you're going to spend out in the sun, how much you're going to drink.
I figure I'll always look like this.
Sure.
I will.
Yeah. Well, you'll always look like that, but, when you get older, it'll be certain things. You'll get, obviously, certain wrinkles and all that other kind of good stuff.
No.
Whereas, the difference is with me, I just keep getting better looking.
By that time, I don't think that I'll have to worry about wrinkles.
Why is that?
I don't know. I feel like they'll have some kind of thing that'll make me not have to worry about it.
You're not going to be all natural and just say, this is me. I don't care about the new...
Well, they'll probably figure out something. They're like, why haven't we been using this dirt in this country to make our wrinkles go away?
Here's my take on that kind of stuff. As much as we think that, by the time I'm X, they'll have figured something out. Now that I'm getting to an age where I remember when I was saying that kind of stuff, as I've said, the only difference between now and when I was growing up is we have nicer phones.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty much the same. I mean, we have more TV channels. We have nicer phones. That's
Like
pretty
a
much
lot
it.
of technology that has happened since you've grown up, Mike.
I mean, it's just nicer. We had video game systems. They're just nicer now. We had phones. We just have nicer phones. We had TV channels. We had cable. We just have more channels.
Sure, yeah.
But it's not like life-changing, like, ooh, we're flying and flying cars and all that other kind of good stuff.
But even though I found out this really sad fact today.
Okay.
And it made me want to cry.
Okay. Which also wouldn't help your look, so don't do that either.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes like hydration and stuff for your skin. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you just made that up.
I also was excited because Christmas is coming.
Absolutely.
And I actually do really like Christmas, but I don't like the hype leading up to Christmas.
You like
That's
Christmas? Yeah, I think
actual Christmas.
I think you and me are on the same boat. We're not a huge fan of the holiday season.
No.
But the actual like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day kind of deal, it's a nice day to spend with family. You know, you get presents, you know, usually have a nice meal. Yeah, it's a nice day. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about my favorite things about Christmas.
Go for it.
A lot of them just so happen to involve drinking.
There you go.
So one thing that we do on Christmas Eve is me and my sister and my dad, once we get home from dinner, we wrap all my mom's presents, and it's very wonderful. We usually like wrap my dog into something, and it's adorable. And then Christmas.
Wait, home from dinner? Like you go to like your cousin's house or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we come home and it's like 11 o'clock at night when we're wrapping presents and we're so tired and my dad gets angry and we can't find the tape, you know. It's fun though.
Yeah.
It is fun.
Good times.
But then Christmas morning, the one thing that I really love about my family is that we go person to person. I don't know if you do that, but
yes, we do.
And we spend at least 20 minutes on each and every gift that we get.
Now we can't do that
because you have 6,000 people
we have
in your
48,000. But one thing we do. I did it again. But you know, you can't do a show, Mike Sasson show, without talking poop. Anyways, so one thing that we as a family
do?
I'm trying
okay.
to.
You can do it.
Okay. That we do participate in.
There you go.
Is we will have everybody like sit around. And we'll pick one of the younger kids. Like the last couple of years, it really comes down to Matt at this point. We're trying to get the niece Carly, who's like in first grade, up to speed to get presents.
Oh, yeah. I'm always stuck with that job, too.
So Matt gives you your present, and so he'll make an announcement like, hey, Mike's got a present. And they'll hand you a present, and you open it and be like, it's a book. And everyone goes, yay, it's a book. But that's all you get.
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time, and we are very big on like people's reactions to gifts. So like when I was younger, we have so many videos because my dad always takes a whole video of all of Christmas morning. So we have so many videos of when I'm little, and I got like a calculator for Christmas, and I'm like, oh my God, Mom, this is everything that I've always wanted. And it's like me doing that to each and every gift, and it's beautiful. And then another thing we do is we recycle all of our wrapping paper, so it's kind of like a little game. Because you have to open your present just so carefully that you can just slide the box out so that you can use that wrapping paper again. It's amazing.
We destroy our wrapping paper.
Yeah, we are very, very environmentally friendly. We
destroy ours, and the one thing that's a Sasson tradition, especially, my dad would always in the middle of it, he'd sit there and be like, all right, stop. Take about 5 minutes, and let's just clean up.
Oh.
And so we'd all be sitting there and like, okay, all right, we're cleaning up, whatever, like that. And it'll always take more than 5 minutes, and we'd have to find trash bags and like that. Because again, with 8 kids, and each one of them gets a couple presents and stuff like that. Now, the one thing with Christmas now is the fact that because I do have the nieces and nephews, I get to go back into Toys R Us. I get to like look at that kind of stuff, which I'm cool with.
Did you get any Legos? Do they like Legos, or they only like Barbie things? You have to wait.
They love Barbie.
For the
they love Barbie. They love Trolls. They love Frozen.
Oh.
The one thing I don't want to go overboard with the nephew, Jack, in that get him a bunch of football stuff. Because I think everyone's going to get him a bunch of...
Don't brainwash him.
Everybody's going to get him Steeler stuff. Well, I mean... like I was even thinking like a couple weeks ago when my brother won the state championship game. Jack was there. which I didn't mention. Jack was there at like 4 months old.
Yeah.
Stayed through the entire game, which proves he's tougher than a $2 steak.
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't leave.
Yeah, he wasn't crying. He wasn't doing anything. He just sat there and he was just really cool with it. And there's a great picture, and I think it's the one we used, where my brother Tim was in one hand holding the state championship trophy and in the other hand holding Jack.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the picture that goes in my brother's office.
Yeah.
That's a really nice picture. But when I was sitting there, I was almost like, as much as we're trying to stop this whole thing of like, we play football, Sassons play football,
Yeah.
we play football,
Yeah.
Sassons play football. I don't know if we can stop it. I don't know. I mean, it's
I think it's in your blood. I don't think that,
I mean, I want
Even
him,
subconsciously, I think that he will just be football.
I want him to understand he has a choice if he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll make fun of him mercilessly, but he has
Jeez.
a choice. That was a joke, kind of. But
Anyways.
more of the things that you like about Christmas.
So then on Christmas morning, after we open all our presents, we have breakfast, and we always have a drink.
Okay.
So we have a different kind of drink every time. And usually it's just like a shot of something, and because that's really all my parents can handle that early in the morning.
Okay. They're lightweights.
Yeah, we drink a lot, and then we take a nap, me and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, oh, okay, I'll dust this thing for you, and then I'll take a nap until we have to get ready. And then we start drinking more and listening to music, and I love that part. And then me and my sister do that thing where we're like, oh, okay, are you ready to go downstairs yet? No, I have to do this. So that we both walk downstairs at the same exact time. We like make this entrance to like the 4 people that have showed up already, and it's beautiful. It really is.
It is a beautiful moment.
Yeah, and then we're trying to think of games that we can play this year. That's one of my favorite things, is that my cousins who don't normally drink, like they'll have a couple more glasses on Christmas, and so we always play a game, and half of us are like, me and my sister mainly me. I get pretty drunk on Christmas.
So we should have a good bar thoughts a couple weeks from now.
We'll see if I make it back. But yeah, so we always have like us and then our younger cousins who obviously aren't drinking because they're like 12.
Yeah.
And we always
When was the first Christmas that your parents allowed you to start drinking?
probably a long time ago.
Were you under the age of 16?
I don't think so. I mean, they might have given me like a glass of wine or something. I'd be like, oh, can I have a sip of that? Like, they were pretty lenient.
I think when I was like as young as like 12, I was allowed to like have a glass of wine. Because again, I was like 6'1" at the time.
Right, so you could like handle anything.
Well, like, remember like in school, they had like the wheel where they would show you because of your body weight how many drinks you could have. And like everyone's like, I could have 4, I could have 6. I'm like, I could have a case and a half.
Yeah, and I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. I didn't realize at the time. Like they were like, oh, how much do you weigh? Like one time it was like in middle school. I'm like, that's my weight. They're like, oh, that's a different wheel. It's like, that's the adult wheel.
That's like when I worked at Men's Warehouse, we had like 2 measuring tapes, and like you had to bring out the big one, and that was always the worst thing in the world. You like try and put the measuring tape around a guy, and you're like, oh no, I have to go get the other measuring tape because you're just giant.
I had a good feeling the last time I flew was I wasn't even close. I've never actually been so big that they had to do the extender, but there have been moments where it was tight. This time it was just kind of, hey, it fit and everything like that. So that's always one thing that always stunk about like getting bigger when you were, and this was like when I was a kid. We didn't get like lots of like nice clothing. So if we had to go to like nice Christmas, we'd always have to like wear clothes that like were like the last time we did anything was maybe Easter.
Yeah.
And so we put on these pants and they wouldn't fit. Yeah. And me and my brother just be like, and my brother would wear my old clothes, but like they'd fit, but they'd make him look like MC Hammer, like he had big baggy pants and stuff like that. Or then like the one pair of pants that would fit had like a giant stain on it.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to find some way to clean it with like Windex or something like that. So I'd have like a big stain of Windex.
I'm just kind of picturing you like going to like church mass and you just like hulking out of all of your clothes.
That's pretty much what it looked like.
That would be great.
That's why I was big on, like when you had to, back in the day when like Catholicism was big time. But now it's kind of lean.
Back in Jesus' time.
If you wanted a seat for St. Scholastica Christmas Mass and it started at like Christmas Eve Mass would start at like 7:30, you had to show up at like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It was like going to a Stones concert. You couldn't just like show up. So one of the things that I always like to do is when I got old enough and I'd drive myself is I would show up at like 7:05.
Yeah.
And then I would just chill in the back.
Right.
But when my dad would always, when I was like younger, and be like, okay, Michael, we're going early and we're going to save a whole pew. So my job would be I'd sit at the end of the pew and like there'd be a whole empty pew.
I hate that.
And old people would come up to me and they'd be like trying to sit down and be like, sorry, this pew is saved. And they'd look at me like the whole pew. And I'm like, yes, the whole pew is saved. And then my mom would come at like 7:10 with like 7 kids, and she just would sit down like she was Lady Di because she had a whole pew emptied out for her. So
that's special.
it is special. I've always been the bouncer. I've just been the big brother and the bouncer.
Well, that's what you get for your height.
Yeah, and girth.
Ew.
Ew.
Two more things that I really love about Christmas are seeing beautiful men dressed up for Christmas. Like, I love just going through, like, after everyone's left for the day, everyone goes home for Christmas, and then I look at my Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, this is just wonderful. Like, everyone's dressed up, everyone's like in these Christmassy sweaters, they're like with their family and everyone's adorable, or they're sitting next to a tree, and it's just wonderful. It's like the best feeling ever. It's not like, oh, this dude's just, posting another naked picture.
Yeah. How many naked picture dude sites are there?
No, I follow a lot of bearded men on Instagram.
But are they naked and they covering their junk?
A lot of them are naked.
Because full disclosure, you find my Instagram, it's a lot of butt models. It's a lot of women. It's a lot of
right. Yeah. And,
none of them have beards though, so I got to check it out.
My Instagram is kind of really awkward to scroll through if when I'm on the bus, I'm like, maybe I don't want to do this, and there's like people sitting around me, and they're like, what the hell is this girl following on Instagram?
Yeah, I've had that at work where I'll be like, oh, what's on Instagram? Oh, there's a picture of this. Oh, yep, I should scroll past that real quick.
Yeah. So that, and then at the very end of the night where everyone gets a little more sentimental and stuff on Christmas, and you always have like that one person text you and they're like, oh, wow, I've been thinking about you because it's Christmas time, and you're like, I miss you. It makes you feel nice.
There you go.
Do you not get that? Do you get that?
Well, I mean, I text you, and then like 4 days later, 4 days later, you're like, hey, Mike.
You always text me at like the worst times on holidays. You're like, oh, is it dinner time at Alex's house? Let's text her a very long, wonderful,
When is a good
message.
time to text you?
I never really.
Okay, yeah, because I get one.
I won't answer.
On January 31st, I'll get one. Oh, happy Merry Christmas, I guess.
Yeah,
just
Mike,
like,
it's cool that you're in my life. Cool.
Yeah, whatever. So that, again, Merry Christmas to everyone. That is the reason why Alex loves Christmas. What I love is to tell people my opinions on things. That's why I came up with my top 5 takes. Here's my theme song. I'll reiterate a take. This will actually be 6 takes today. Again, the Steelers lost to the Patriots, and here's my take on that. It wasn't a catch, but it's a shitty rule. Moving on. All right, number 5. So I was watching today the ESPN NFL pregame show because they were live in Pittsburgh. All right, and the show is not as good as it was a couple years ago. They completely retooled. They brought in a bunch of new people. And so what I'm going to do, this is a public service to the ESPN Corporation, also to anybody else who wants to put together an NFL pregame show. Here's how you put together an NFL pregame show.
Get a keg.
Here's how Alex would put it together, an NFL pregame show, because I think that actually could be kind of fun. You need 4 types of people. Number 1, you need your broadcaster. You need your guy, your girl who knows what the hell they're doing. They keep the show moving. They're actually trained. They know how to look in the camera. They know how to talk. That was Chris Berman. That was James Brown. That's who you are. Now it's Samantha Ponder, who did a great job. She's a broadcaster. She's also extremely attractive, so there's 2 there.
Helps.
But she's a great broadcaster. Keep her. Then you have to have your ex-jock, your ex-player, but he's got to be a little geeky, and he gets into like the X's and O's.
Oh, yeah.
That has to be Matt Hasselbeck, but he didn't. He was trying to be cool like the other people, and I'm just here to tell you, Matt Hasselbeck, you're not cool. Be the geek. Be the guy who like Ron Jaworski wasn't cool. He talked about coverages. He talked about defenses. Be that guy. Then you have to have your emotion guy, the guy who just has nothing to do with X's and O's. He's all about, we got to want it, and we got to do this, and blah, 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 and the energy and all that kind of stuff. The problem with the ESPN show is there were 2 of those, Randy Moss and Charles Woodson. One of them's got to go. My pick is Charles Woodson has to go because he didn't know what a pierogi was, even though he grew up in Cleveland.
Fuck.
Yeah, But Randy Moss, he grew up in West Virginia, has more of a Southern twang to it. So, and also no one could screw with him because he was like the most insanely good wide receiver of all time. Then you have to have your crazy coach. Like before, it was Ditka. On the other shows, it's Bill Cowher. The other show is Jimmy Johnson. They have Rex Ryan. He's good, but here's my thing. He has to be crazier.
Yeah.
He's not crazy enough. He wants to like still get a job somewhere, so he wants people to respect him. No, be crazy. Mike Ditka's crazy. That was what was great about Ditka. He just would say stupid stuff and be like, Ditka's crazy. Yeah, be more crazy. So again, that's how you put together an NFL pregame show.
But I really do think that they should drink. And also, the big thing is that they all have to have great outfits. I pay a lot of attention when I am watching sports to the outfits that they wear.
I agree. They should be well dressed. Now, one thing about your drinking thing is I think everyone doesn't do it because you heard about the early days of Jimmy Kimmel Live.
No.
Okay. Jimmy Kimmel Live, in its first week, its idea was, number one, it was going to be live.
Yeah.
Which they stopped because of the same reason why you don't like the fact that this is live.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. They just stopped having it live. And the second thing was they had an open bar in which the people would drink. And so they thought that'd be amazing. The crowd's going to be wowed up and, you know, it's going to be awesome. The problem is you can't control how much people can drink or whatever. So someone the first night got obliterated drunk, puked, and like fell down the steps.
Nice.
And because of the fact that like Disney, ABC Corporation paid for the drinks, they were kind of liable. So like the second night they were like, yeah, that whole drinking thing, yeah, that's done. That's the problem. If you
maybe you could just like mandate how many drinks. Like, oh, okay, each person gets 3 beers.
But the problem is, there's like, again, with me 3 beers, it would be like me drinking this water, whereas like you get some lightweight who's drink 3 beers and all of a sudden they're
all
saying
of the beers are judged on weight.
Yes. You'd have to be there. That'd be your job. You'd be the production assistant in charge of getting them not drunk, but a little happy.
Yeah. Like, I figure out the right amount of tipsy for them. We do experiments beforehand, and I figure it out, and they're like, this is it. This is how you're going to be great.
And so, like, some people just, like, some person gets a Jack and Coke, and you're like, oh, here's your drink, and it's actually just Diet Coke. And you're like, you've figured out, okay, you can keep drinking so you don't look like a total puss.
But I feel like it would look like more fun too.
Yeah.
You know, people would be like, oh, they're drinking, they're having a good time, even if they were only like just had a beer in front of them.
One thing that I've always found interesting, and I hate it when there's forced fun.
Oh,
like NFL, the CBS NFL the pregame show. They always, when they come back, they always go, and the guys will be at halftime talking about the Steelers versus the Patriots, and they're all throwing paper at each other. And I'm like,
aw, that's cute.
That's totally.
It's adorable.
Some marketing person said, you have to look like you're having fun. Instead of just sitting there going, yeah, we're grown men. We're writing stuff down. We're trained broadcasters. No, we're all good time party guys. No,
I love it.
I don't like forced fun. Anyways, number 4. I thought about this the other day. Do you have that buddy who sits there and says, I don't vote because it's fixed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everything is, they decided already who's going to be the winner. And, you know, sometimes I've gotten into that too. But then I had this thought yesterday. If voting is fixed, why is it that people fight so hard to stop other people from voting?
Yeah.
If voting is fixed, why is it that until 1920 women couldn't vote? Or in the South, African Americans couldn't vote until like literally the 60s or the 70s?
Yeah.
If it was fixed, they'd be like, yeah, vote. Have a goat vote. Have 2 people vote. Vote in the same booth. Vote with your kid. Have your kid vote. Who cares? We've already decided who wins.
Well, they don't want to let people know that, you know, like they have to keep up the facade of it.
See, that's a lot of work. I would say, marketing wise, if we already knew who's going to win, then you just sit there and say, okay, here's the deal. Let everybody vote so they feel good about it. But yeah, we already know who kind of picked. So
yeah, I don't know.
I do, and I'm right. Number 3. Again, Star Wars came out this weekend. Funny thing about it, Rotten Tomatoes, the critics loved it, like 93, 94%.
What?
But the fans didn't like it, which to
I
me,
heard a lot of people like it.
Which to me, well, like it got a low score amongst fans. Like there was a 30% difference, which tells me Star Wars geeks don't like it for some reason, which means I'll probably like it. But I was talking to there was a kid who's a comedian, and he was talking about, I was watching episode 6. Now, episode 6 is Return of the Jedi. And I got mad because I'm like, it's not episode 6. It's Return of the Jedi. Don't try to turn it in. Don't drink the George Lucas Kool-Aid that he made all of this stuff up in 1974. Okay? It's not A New Hope. It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars, then Empire Strikes Back, then Return of the Jedi, then the 3 shitty movies that they made back in the 90s that were terrible. Okay? That's what it was, and now here are the new movies. But again,
Jeez.
yeah, it's Return of the Jedi. So that's that. Number 2. I got kind of, like, you talk about a fact that kind of makes you sad. This is a fact that, it was a thought I had the other day. Whites, I was sitting there going, okay, how do we get rid of white supremacy and, men who abuse their power with, sex and all that other kind of good stuff?
How do we?
It's going to be harder than I thought.
Really?
And here's why. White supremacists are really useful for white people because they set a completely low threshold for how good of a person you need to be.
That's true.
Like, okay, if you were watching like Mississippi Burning and you see like a scene where some guy who is just trying to register people to vote gets beaten up and then they drive a car and they throw him out a window.
Yeah.
White people sometimes sit there and be like, well, I have never done that.
Yeah.
So I am actually one of the great, most progressive human beings in the world. I have never burned a cross on someone's front lawn.
Right.
So I am not the problem. I am absolutely a wonderful human being. That's why there's a part of who want to keep them, because if that got rid of them, then the average bad white person becomes the new bottom. And they want the current low to stay there. So again, and also men get to think like they're borderline Gloria Steinem level feminists if they've never masturbated in front of a woman.
That's true.
So now they can sit there and go, hey, you know what? Yeah, I might make people feel uneasy. I might, objectify women, whatever. But at least I'm not jerking off into potted plants in front of them, and you can feel good about yourself.
Do you feel good about yourself?
I've never felt good about myself ever.
Oh, okay.
Number 1, I don't know if you read this, but
I don't read.
Number 2, Alex needs to read. Number 1, looks like Pittsburgh might be getting a giant Ferris wheel.
Woo.
I'm actually pumped about it. I think that
Didn't
would be
we have the first one?
The guy who invented
here?
the Ferris, Tony Ferris or whatever his name was. He's like Edgar Ferris. I don't know, but Mr. Ferris of the Ferris wheel lived in Pittsburgh. He invented it in Pittsburgh, which makes sense. We should have a giant Ferris wheel. The only problem
Where is it going?
It's going on the other side of the West End Bridge on the Ohio River side, near I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking.
Because there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's going to be a big development. I guess if it's big enough and it's a 200-foot one, when you get up to the top of it, you'll get a good shot.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you get a good shot of the city.
That makes sense.
The problem is when you get midway through, you're just looking at the West End Bridge and you're just this kind of sucks. But at top, it'll be pretty cool. So I like that. I'm pumped about.
I'm on board too.
On board. I like the other idea was someone said, well, it'd be really cool if it was on top of Mount Washington. But again, where are you putting a giant? But where?
Yeah, you can't even put a fast food restaurant up there, let alone a Ferris wheel.
Yeah, you have to tear down your house to build a giant Ferris wheel. That's what they do.
They would never.
Yeah, they would. They would. Anyways, that's my top 5 takes. When we come back, we'll be back with news and notes from the world of entertainment, sports, and weirdness. We'll be talking about the fact that John Stamos looks like he's procreated. Also, monkey deer sex. It's the Mike Sasson Show live on www.riversedgepgh.com. We'll be right back.
Let's go. It's green. Come on. Go.
God damn it, Brian. You need to calm down
I'm
with the road
sick
rage.
of these people, these assholes.
It's the road rage, man. You gotta calm down on the road rage.
Well, I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to Falling Water,
Bicycle Heaven.
the Mattress Factory,
Tuck Knob.
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come on,
right,
come on.
right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Well, too late now. I gotta keep going. I'm not gonna sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to the Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us.
Come take a ride with us here on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com, broadcasting all over the planet. The best local news, the best local talk. My name's Mike Sasson. That is Alex Clemens. You are listening to us on the River's Edge or on TuneIn Radio across the planet Earth, or on one of the several podcast formats, either Google Play, SoundCloud, or iTunes, or you're watching us on Facebook Live and you're watching news and notes from the world of sports, entertainment, and weirdness, play the theme song. First story, George Clooney. I want to hate the guy, but he did something that I feel would be one of my dreams.
What?
He has a bunch of buddies that he hangs out with. He calls them the boys. And
It's already adorable.
Already adorable. And so, I don't know, I forget his name, but the guy, one of his buddies is a guy who owns a couple bars out in LA and is married to Cindy Crawford. And he told a story that back in 2014, now these guys, there's like 14 of them. Some of them are like big time successes. Some of them are just kind of minor successes. Some of them are just,
Some of them are fucking George Clooney.
Some of them are George Clooney, But he did something that is actually a dream of mine. He brought them all together, and they were having dinner at his house, and it was great and all this kind of stuff. And he sat there and he goes, guys, everybody here is so special to me. A lot of you have been with me from the beginning when I came out to Los Angeles and I didn't have a pot to piss in. I slept on your couches and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, what could I do to really help my friends out? So he gave them all a suitcase.
Okay.
And they opened the suitcase. Each suitcase contained $1 million cash.
What?
And then, obviously, one of them was a kind of a smartass going, oh, think of the taxes. He goes, no. I've already taken care of the taxes. You're getting $1 million free and clear. I want everybody here to not have to worry about where they're sending their kids to school. I want you to pay off your houses. I want you to pay off your credit card debts. You're my buddies. Thank you very much. Isn't it cool to be George Clooney's friend?
Aw.
And I sat there, and that's a dream. I would love, like you talk about, like what would be a special Christmas. One of my dreams is to eventually be so successful in the entertainment industry that I could, at a Christmas, hand every one of my siblings that have children and say, here, each one of your kids have $1 million trust funds.
Yeah.
Or, hey, Mom, I paid off your car. Hey, I got you a house, all that kind of stuff. So, again, kudos to George Clooney. I want to hate the guy. The guy's lived one of the greatest lives in the history of lives.
He's just beautiful.
But if you do that to your buddies and give $1 million free and clear, each one of them, so 14 mil, you're a pretty cool guy. So kudos to George Clooney there. Kudos also to the inventor of a new vibrator, the Omnibod. The reason why this is kind of interesting is it was an article written by a woman who was coming off drugs.
Okay.
And where she used to do drugs was in the club. And so she'd go to like raves, she'd go to the club, and she'd always, she'd get high on ecstasy and she'd dance all night. Well, she had to stop. She was getting to that age where it's not cool anymore.
Okay.
So someone got her this vibrator that is music activated. So when she goes to the club and like it activates down in her nether regions.
What?
And she then has a time that ecstasy could not match.
Huh.
So, you know what? I don't know if I know any women close enough. I mean, if I gave you one of these, would you be like, Mike, you're disgusting, you're awful? Or, oh my God, Mike, what an amazing gift.
Yeah, I think I would find it a little weird receiving that gift from you. I could like just buy it myself, I feel.
But could you see a usefulness to it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to think about like when I hear music in my day-to-day life,
But it would have to be
I'm not like a club person,
But you do go to sometimes like to concerts, emo nights, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so instead of maybe you talked about
like,
the future.
do you have to listen to the right music, Like, I feel like a club, you listen to a lot of upbeat music, Like, would you?
Well, she did try it at a punk show. She said it was kind of like really like so it didn't work as well.
Yeah, like what if it was slow music? I don't know. I think it'd be interesting.
Would you go to a rave knowing that it would lead to orgasmic paradise?
Maybe, yeah.
I'm saying.
But also, I want to do the drugs.
But what if you did both?
Yeah.
Then you'd be really into some cool stuff.
Yeah, I'd probably just want to die after that because nothing else would ever be as good in my life.
There. Well, you know what? Then I won't get this for you. Also, they came out with a list of the most overpaid actor of 2017, and guess who it is?
Oh my God.
Your favorite and mine, Mark Wahlberg.
Ugh.
He apparently for every dollar they paid him this past year, he only returned $4 in box office, which is not good considering you actually have to like pay other people to be in a movie. So like, and you have to like buy cameras and stuff. So anybody who put Mark Wahlberg in a movie this year took a giant bath. So again,
stop putting him in movies. Also, why are you paying him so much money? What is he doing?
Have you ever seen
It's not
him?
for his looks.
Okay, you don't think he's a decent looking guy?
No.
Okay. Secondly, though, he doesn't really have he's not like a Sylvester Stallone who had a Rocky and a Rambo, or he's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was making like $20-30 million a picture. He did movies that only Arnold Schwarzenegger could do.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah, like he had to do it. But like Mark Wahlberg's in Transformers. You could put that, again, going back to like we talked about at the beginning of the show, being an actor. You could put my brother in that movie with Transformers. They're still showing up to watch Transformers.
Right, yeah.
John Sasson could do it. And you know what? They paid Mark Wahlberg $30 million. You could pay my brother John $15. He'll do just as good a job.
Yeah.
And he'll run from the robots, and you'll be like, ooh, look, robots are fighting. You'll have fun.
Yeah.
But they don't. They give Mark Wahlberg the $70 billion.
No, yeah, I wouldn't put him in that movie.
So again, Mark Wahlberg, most overpaid actor.
They know that his face is angering people.
You're like the fourth woman I know that hates Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, well, they should know that, and they should stop putting him in movies. Just let him go home.
Yeah, just let him go back. Let him cook burgers and live in Boston.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Again, we're coming to the end of 2017, and we will have our year-end special. We'll review 2017, a truly craptastic year. But Oxford Dictionary has announced its word of the year, and it is youthquake.
Because that's just what?
I've never heard anybody use that word.
The fuck does it mean?
It's supposed to be a seismic shift in culture due to youth and influence.
No one's ever used this word.
I've never heard it until the Oxford Dictionary decided that they wanted to.
Like, what are they basing this off of? Is it like, most relevant word of the year? Or like, because it's clearly not the most used word of the year.
Apparently, they said it had the most increase in terms of usage from 2016 to 2017. They did an analysis, I guess. I don't know. They paid somebody. He came up with youthquake. Again,
Stupid.
I'm not a. Yeah.
Stupid.
Very, 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 very stupid.
They can also go home.
They can also go home. Somebody that shouldn't go home because apparently they've got terrible, stinky balls is the person that came up with the product Ball Wash.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why you just wouldn't use normal soap. I mean, like...
It seems like I looked it up and it seems like a legitimate thing. It seems like they're like, it's a scent that lasts all night long. And I was like, all right.
But, okay.
I already bought one, just so you know.
You bought it?
I literally found this I don't know, before we started the show, and I already bought it.
So you're going to
immediately.
Well, okay. Well, then give it to your man friend and see, and maybe we can test it.
Yeah. I'll let you know how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a good thing.
Have you ever had a person that you've been
Yes.
intimate with and it's been an issue?
Yes.
Like beyond
All
soap?
the time.
All the time? Like it's
What
consistent?
do you mean beyond soap?
Well, I mean, like
If I was like, hey, can you go clean up?
But I mean, like, okay, no. I mean, like, if you ever brought it up to someone that you're being intimate with, and you go, hey, by the way,
Your balls smell like shit all the time.
all the time, what do you use? Because I could be on, like, I would say soap and like would work or body wash, but it got to a point to where it's like, hey, this is a problem that you need a specific product for.
Yeah, but I think the thing for me is that the scent lasts forever. So like, yeah, you can use soap. Your balls smell good for a while, but then you're sweating, you're doing shit. If you're at work or something, you come home, and you don't have time to wash your balls before you go out. It's great. You don't have to.
See, I don't think what would your balls smell like after using it if it lasts for 24 hours?
I don't know. We're gonna see.
I think it would help if there was more shaving down there. That was probably what's collecting a lot of the odor.
I don't know. See, Zach has a really big butt and thighs, and I think that really affects his ball sweat.
See, I didn't want to get into it, but let's since you mentioned him, does your gentleman friend have an issue with balls?
Well, it just depends.
Okay.
Because I mean, I usually, if I am around his balls, it's like after, like after he is at work or like after he's been doing something. So it's a little bit more sweaty down there, and I'm like,
And especially if you're like, it's in the thralls of passion and you don't want to sit there and say, hey, take a shower right now.
Yeah. See, we've gotten to the point in our relationship where I can tell him that I'm comfortable saying like, hey, you smell. Please fix this.
Yes.
Have
you ever stopped and been like, whoop, nope, yep, get out. Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's what you have to do. You have to be honest.
That's what I mean. That's why I got him this ball wash. I'm pretty excited for it.
Okay,
it might really improve my life, Mike.
Well, here's the thing. Next show, when you're going to do the review.
Oh, I might not have it by next.
Okay. Well, when you do get it,
okay,
you'll sit there and you'll message me and be like, "Hey, Mike, I've got the review. Don't tell me the review."
Okay. Right. I wouldn't ruin it for you.
Yeah. Don't ruin things for me. But make sure that we do that, and we'll review Ball Wash and Ball Wash. You know what? We should get them as a sponsor.
We really should.
Find who did.
I already said so many good things about them, and I haven't even gotten the product yet.
Well, I at the beginning was not terribly enthused that it was a necessary product, and you're like, no, this is a necessary product. So necessary. This is something that is a godsend.
You're probably not smelling your balls all the time.
If I could smell my own balls, I would never need to leave my house.
Ew.
I'm just being honest. If any man out there knows that if they had the ability and the dexterity to smell one's own balls, that they could sit there and say, like, hey, you'd be in your own house, you would never leave. Someone who should probably leave is which store should do? Okay, we'll do this one. We're going right to it.
Leave?
In Japan, apparently,
okay,
they spotted a spider monkey having sex with a deer.
I don't understand this.
Okay, let me find the article.
I'm trying to find the picture of it.
I sent it to you, I think.
Yeah, sorry. My vision's going.
I know. Well, you're
old.
You're
it's
getting old. Okay.
It's affecting my skin and eyes.
All right. This is from The Guardian. Snow monkey attempts to have sex with different female deer.
But their genitals are not in the same place. That's why I'm very confused about it.
All right. Here's another picture. This is a little better, I guess. Here.
Okay, that's much better.
Okay.
This one just looks like it's like.
Well, I think that's the female who was rubbing her genitals on the deer. Like, there's males that are actually mounting the deer.
Why the fuck is this happening, and why is it just happening now?
Well, here's my point. Whose stupid job is it to watch it and find and report that deer and monkeys are having sex? It's the worst job I've ever in my life.
What if there's monkey deer babies?
Well, then, as soon as the monkey deer babies show up, then you start to sit there and say, hey, what's going on? Woo. But at this point, it's just weird, kinky monkey deer sex.
I'm just picturing what that would look like.
It would probably look like a very... I'm assuming that the monkey, it would be almost like a head of a monkey and be maybe more stronger, but maybe a little stouter.
Are the deers cool with this?
One of them was, is this deer's assault? I don't know.
Maybe the monkeys have just, they are somewhat like humans, and maybe they've just seen all the scumbag humans, and what we've been doing in the world.
Well, according to this, they said
I'm going to go rape a bunch of deer.
According to this, they said the reason they theorized that the one monkey did this is because it did not have a mate, and so it was just like, well, I guess I got to find something.
Damn.
So yeah, again, there's someone who figured this out. There's a guy who gets paid. You ever done that? You ever met a person and they tell you their job and you sit there and you go, how do you make money? How does life happen to you? One time,
I want to meet the guy who did this.
Why?
Who found out this?
Again, I want to know how that person paid him. How do you go to the bank and pull money out of an account when your job is to watch and report on monkey deer sex?
It's probably grants and things,
I got to get a grant.
We need to know these.
We need to get grants. Where someone get me a grant. Someone the other day, I was talking to someone, and their job was that they wanted to improve and get more females on television in Zimbabwe.
Obviously.
I'm like, okay, but who's paying you? And they're like, oh, we get donations and stuff. Who's
the female committee of Zimbabwe?
I don't.
They're big.
They're big. They got big time bucks.
Yeah.
Big time bucks. Anyways, moving on.
Kickstarter.
I don't know. Kickstarter for doing something. You ever heard of the term man flu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I heard about this.
All right. So essentially, women for years have been talking about how big wimps that men are because they get the flu and they're always like, oh, I can't stand it, you know. And women are like, oh, men are just such babies. Well, it turns out that studies show that men, when they actually get the flu, actually it affects them more dramatically than it does women. So the whole thing about the man flu is an actual thing. So women have just been really, really mean this whole time.
I'm sure that I wonder who did this study.
A great man who didn't study monkey deer sex.
Yeah, it was a man.
It was a Canadian scientist.
Yeah, he's like, I'm totally going to do this so that my wife will leave me alone whenever I get the flu.
So you think it's a push study? You think that okay. You know, do you believe in men in your life you feel have been exaggerating illnesses?
Yes, absolutely.
Who's the worst at it? Your boyfriend or
Yeah.
Okay.
And like my dad, he's not very good. When he
Okay,
gets
describe
colds.
what happens. Why do you what are some things that annoy you when they get sick?
They cannot do anything. That's like, because when I get sick, like I still go to work, I still do things, you know. But when
Which is actually not a good idea. They said if you're sick, you should stay home because you're going to make everybody else sick.
yeah, it says the people who don't have real jobs.
Okay.
But no, they just they complain. I think it's more of the complaining.
Okay.
You know, and it's just like
I'm
the
sick and I don't
worst
feel
moods
good.
in the whole world, and it's like, oh,
Do you ever tell your boyfriend just toughen up and
shut up?
quit being a little wimp?
Yeah.
Then you slap him
And
and
I
you
just
say,
throw his dirty tissues in his face.
yeah. Then you say, and on top of that, you sick bastard, you have stinky balls.
Yeah, especially when he's sick.
Yeah. Hey-o. Damn. So, again, according to studies, you're just being mean. Moving on. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has announced
Rock and roll.
its inductions, the people that are going to be in this class of people, headed off by the greatest band to ever come out of Sayreville, New Jersey. The reason why I know that is that's a town near where my dad grew up, Bon Jovi. Please show the 1980s picture of Bon Jovi. Okay, so as a female, I want you to look at that. Describe what you see.
Just beautiful hair and very elaborate clothing.
Now, understand something, and I always tell this to people who were not around in 1987. Those guys were knee-deep in vagina. Those guys could not get away from vagina. They were getting
I'd
laid
pick
so
like
much.
2 of them.
Which ones were the most attractive?
I don't know who they are.
Okay, I bet you John you're a big fan of.
I'm assuming that he's in the middle.
Okay, let me show me the picture. All right, I'm going to send. I sent you the picture. I should look at it.
Yeah, just the 2 guys on the right.
The
They'd
2
be
guys
like,
in the. Okay, so. By the way, I have seen Bon Jovi twice in concert.
And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I living on
Did
a
you
prayer.
drop your panties?
No, I didn't. But you know what? I wouldn't be against it if I did. But no, I was a big time Bon Jovi fan, and I'm a big time Bon Jovi fan.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so
That
you're
makes
saying
sense.
the 2 guys on the right.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously the guy on the lower right is John Bon Jovi. That's the lead singer. Then the guy on the upper right is the keyboard player. He actually writes Broadway musicals on top of that. The guy in the top left is Richie Sambora, who married Heather Locklear, who now has like an insanely hot daughter from Heather Locklear. And the guy on the bottom left is the drummer. And the guy in the middle is Tico Torres, which is a funny story about him. He's kind of like a Milli Vanilli in a sense that he wasn't actually the bass player when they recorded their music, but the guy who is just like a normal looking dude. He was just a studio bassist. So they actually had to get somebody who felt was like more in tune to their rock image, but couldn't play a lick. So every time they'd record, they'd get the guy who actually could play.
Oh my God.
And then this guy they would like bring out on tour until it got to the point to where, and this happened like 3 albums in, it got to the point to where this guy just was ruining everything because he was so bad as a bass player. So eventually they just had to bring out like the dad looking guy, and he just looks like a dad. He has like short hair. He wears just like normal dad clothes. He looks like he looked like he'd be in a Bon Jovi cover band who didn't try to dress up, but he's actually the bassist for Bon Jovi.
I feel like in the beginning you probably could have found a person that was both. You know, they exist in the world.
Bon Jovi's an interesting story because, and again, I know too much about Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
But John Bon Jovi's cousin worked at a recording studio in New York City. So he got a job working there and like met like David Bowie and all these other kind of people. So, but he was like, he like cleaned the toilets. He was nothing. He was just like low rent nobody. Anyways, he came up with this song Runaway, and it was just a demo. But somehow it got in the hands of a DJ up in New York City who played it on the radio, and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
But the problem was he didn't have a band.
Yeah.
That's why it was something, it wasn't that cognitive of like, oh, I should put this thing. It was one of those things where they had to put the whole thing together in like a week.
Yeah.
Because like the song was going up the charts. He wasn't even signed. It was, in his words, this is John Bon Jovi's words, Runaway was a fluke. It was something that should not have happened. Which again brings back to, if you're famous in the entertainment world, a lot of times it is because it's a fluke.
Yeah.
Also, another interesting part was his dad was one of the weirdest, coolest individuals I've ever heard of. He was a hairdresser in New Jersey who was in the Marines for 10 years.
Did he do all of their hair for the shows?
I don't think he did, but I think he did influence the fact that hair was important to them.
That's cool.
So, again, other people that were in it, the Cars, who you've probably heard a couple of their songs. Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, that's a cool band. And then the Moody Blues, and then a couple other people. So, again.
A couple other people we don't care about.
Yeah, Nina Simone and someone else, but who are very talented, but they're not Bon Jovi, the Cars, Dire Straits, or the Moody Blues. So, again, have you ever been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I've been outside of it.
I would recommend going inside of it if you like music.
I really like the outside, though.
The inside is cool if you like music.
Okay, maybe someday.
You see Elvis's Cadillac.
Cool.
And it had TCB engraved in the thing, taking care of business.
Well, Johnny Cash's tour bus is outside of it,
Yeah, I
so
walked in there.
I got that.
Yeah, which to be honest, I saw it and I was just like, this is nice, but it's not like holy crap, this is amazing nice. It was just like, oh, I could.
I don't want it to be amazing nice. I want it to be Johnny Cash nice.
See, I want like the incredible, holy crap, opulent,
Nah.
Like I was speaking of musicians, I was watching the Lady Gaga documentary.
What? What do you do, Mike?
I watch all sorts
What
of
you do
stuff.
in your free time is watch the Lady Gaga documentary?
Why can't I watch the Lady Gaga
Oh,
documentary?
that's ridiculous.
I'm very interested in how artists create.
Okay.
'Cause
And
I'm an
how
artist
was
and I
it?
wanna
Was
create.
it good?
No, but one thing that kept going is the fact that there was so many people around her that like worked for her, and you could tell were just like kissing her ass at like and the thing was is she was just allowed to be just the most emotional human being in the world, and everyone had to just accept that this was normal behavior.
Yeah.
Like she would just start bawling out, crying at the moment, and then she would come up to people and go, "Be honest with me, how was blah blah?" And they'd be like, "Oh, Gaga, you're just amazing." I'm like, dude, I work for you. I'm not going to give you my honest opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you're a fucking psycho.
Especially because you cry all the time.
Yeah, you're crying all the time and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, but no, so that was interesting there. Bon Jovi, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Closing it out, John Stamos is going to reproduce. He is 54 years old.
I'm so excited to be able to have him on the actual DILF list. That's amazing.
Now, rank him in terms of DILFness. I mean, is he in top 5 DILF now that he will be a dad?
Oh my God, yeah, he's totally, and especially this picture in People magazine, damn. Like, you mentioned people that are just getting better with age. Just like, what? How does that happen? How do I marry someone that will just look like that when they're 54?
First off, he's John fucking Stamos.
Like, what is he doing? What do you do with your skin, John Stamos?
He's being John
Please
fucking
give us your
Stamos.
secrets.
He's John fucking Stamos. That's what he is.
I want to know what he did to change. He had to straighten up. That's what he said. Now that he has this new life.
There was this, him and Howard Stern are like real close, and so Howard described one time. Yeah, they're like super close. Huh. And so like he described that, well, first off, he was married to Rebecca Romaine, who was like a super tall, blonde, leggy supermodel type deal. And then he like, they broke up, whatever.
And then he found the love of his life.
Well, in between, he was like John Stamos, super freaking rich, John Stamos, like single dude. And so Howard described that he like walked into John Stamos' house and like the most incredible women in the world, like 6 foot, blonde, big boob, just incredible Adonises of women were just walking around the house just naked as the day they were born, sunbathing outside, and John Stamos didn't give a shit.
Isn't that just amazing, though? Like, if you think about your life and you're like, I could be on Full House. I could be on a show that is like very family friendly, and I can still get this many ladies when I am old.
Yeah, because he looks like
How
that.
amazing is my life?
Well, John Stamos' pretty amazing life.
Yeah.
Well, him and George Clooney both had their kids when they're like in their 50s, which I think is the move.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you don't
That's
want
it.
your kids in your 20s. What are you doing?
Yeah, because you're just,
Have them when you're 50s.
getting ladies.
Yeah, and get like one more. He'll have 2 kids. By the way, I'm pretty much guessing there's a good chance that if he has a son, you're gonna be following him on Instagram.
Hell yeah, that'll be amazing. I'm not that much older.
I don't know. You're gonna have to be super famous to get John Stamos' kid.
No. It'll work out.
Yeah.
I'll get in there early.
You'll get in there early at work.
Yeah, I'll be like his babysitter or something.
Oh, that's kind of gross.
That's not gross. You always, if it was from your point of view,
Okay.
and you were a man and you're like 13 years old and you have a hot babysitter, and then when you grow up and you guys are like in your, whatever, so you're like 20 and you see your babysitter one night at the bar and you're like, I could have sex with my babysitter.
I had a friend, just once, but a female friend who talked about the fact that she's kind of into older dudes and thinks that she developed that longing for older dudes because she was like really into her babysitter's boyfriends. And she was like maybe 8 or 9 and the boyfriends would be like 17, 18. And she would just be like, oh my gosh, that's what I want. And then, but now she's like in her 20s and she likes dudes in her like her 30s and they're like 30s and 40s.
Maybe that'll be him.
Hopefully for you. There
Yeah.
you go. Get
John Stamos is going to have absolutely gorgeous children.
Lou Stamos or whatever you'd want to be called.
Lou.
Tony.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be Lou.
Ed Stamos. So who knows? That was news and notes. Now we will do something we didn't do last week because we forgot.
Because we're horrible people.
Because we're horrible people. First and foremost, again, we wish everyone a happy holidays. Have a safe one, especially for Alex because apparently she drinks a lot, so don't get behind a wheel. Anyways, we will be doing reading your comments in Comment Your Ass Off. Again, Reid said comments. We guarantee we will read comments, except when we forget.
Are you saying read?
Read.
Okay.
We're not even going to say them. We're just going to read them and go, okay.
Sam says, happy holidays.
There you go, Sam. Big time. Sam's a big fan of the show.
And then we said, happy holidays back.
There you go.
Joshua said, OMG, Alex, when are you coming back to Denver? It's a person I met in Denver.
There you go.
If you didn't get
When
that.
are you getting back to Denver?
I don't know.
When are you going on tour? I don't know. I don't know. That's a question that you ask someone who's
my
on tour.
face is just like,
Have you ever checked like the Twitter feed of like a comic or a singer? They'd be like, when are you coming back to Phoenix? When are you coming back to Dallas? And like, you're just a person. You're not like,
I'm
but
just
eventually
me.
you could be just on tour as Alex and you're just like drinking.
I will be.
Drinking in other cities. Da, 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 da.
That would be great. I should start that.
Alex is drinking
Hey,
tour.
want to have a drink at me? Oh my God. A drink with me at this bar?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm saying, that's a good job. Yeah, do whatever you got to do.
Liam said that you forgot about the Scarps family when you were mentioning all of the families that I mentioned on Garrett's podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I did talk about this. We talked about Scarps a lot, obviously.
Yeah,
'cause,
Scarps is big time. We love
It's our
Scarps.
beginning.
Yep.
Ken says, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Ken.
And then Liam also says that he recommends Dirty South Night at Belvedere's for the vibrator.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I'll get it tried
Well,
out.
maybe
I'm sure
Liam-
it's like $16,000 though.
I bet. My only issue would be if for you would be what if it malfunctions, and then all of a
And
sudden it's electronic.
It blows up.
Yeah.
And I blow up.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to blow up.
No, you don't want to blow up. I would say you don't.
I think
wanna
that's
blow
one thing I've definitely decided in my life.
You know what? Alex is not. She wants to blow up, like in terms of like fame and in terms of that kind of stuff. Like, Alex is blowing up, and they're like, oh my God, that's cool. No, literally, her vibrator blew up, and so that's what's happening. Again, Merry Christmas to everyone. Next
Christmas.
Sunday. We will not be having a show because it'll be Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So our next show will be our year in review show.
Woo-hoo.
We will be playing some of the best moments of 2017 up until then as a celebration of 2017. A lot of moments here. I mean, obviously moving into the new studio, the Millvale Music Festival, the the Panza Gallery, me doing more comedy, me getting this haircut.
Okay, don't ruin it all for them, Mike.
A lot of things happen in 2017. We'll be talking to that. And also, Alex will be talking about her Christmas, my Christmas. I will be getting Alex a present sometime this week. So
I'm getting you ball wash. I'll order two.
Because I got stinky balls. Anyways, I don't have stinky balls. I have effervescent, wonderful balls. I have the most majestic smelling balls in the history of the world.
All right.
I have the most interesting
This
man's
is not how we should
balls.
end the show.
It is. Merry Christmas to everybody. Enjoy your holidays. My name is Mike. That is Alex. See you later. Bye.